Savannah Lee Nassif, welcome back to Popternative. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you again. Thank you for having me back.
It's exciting. We're talking about scary movie. This is really cool because I do remember, you know how it is, right? Like they do like those cast announcements and like people
Yeah.
being added to the cast, and it was announced that you were joining the cast. And I remember being like, yes, but we don't know anything, right? And then finally,
Right.
when the teasers came out, it was Hello Tuesday. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is the greatest thing ever. How exciting was it for you to finally like talk about that you were playing Tuesday? Like that was a secret you were keeping for a while.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, it was so fun to be able to announce that I was getting to be a part of the franchise, but that was a really hard secret to keep because people were asking, like, well, what's your character? Who are you? And I'm like, I literally can't say anything. So to keep that a secret was really tough. But then as soon as the trailer dropped and they announced it in the trailer, it was like so crazy for the world to kind of know exactly what my character was.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited to ask you this because I'm really curious about this because I feel like it can go either way.
Yeah.
Were there moments filming Scary Movie where it felt like you were filming a horror movie, or did it overall feel like comedy sometimes?
I mean, I'll say a lot of the times it really did just feel like comedy, but there
Yeah.
were a couple moments, specifically in the hospital scene when I'm like rolling down the hallway in the wheelchair and Ghostface was kind of like slowly coming up behind me. That was one moment where I genuinely did feel like it was more of like a horror film, and I was like actually a little scared because I don't really do horror films, like watch them, which is kind of ironic. But that was definitely a moment where I was like, "Oh, this is kind of scary." Like low key, it's kind of scary.
Did you and the cast have any conversations with the Wayans and the director Michael about this in regards to like that kind of that kind of tag team of like getting the people that love the first like the original scary movie movies and then getting people to be like also introduced to the franchise like so they can go back and watch them all. Was there any conversations like that with the Wayans?
I think it was more so conversations about them allowing us to really join the franchise and the family in such a great way with when it comes to ad-libbing and improv. That was a conversation I had with Michael very early on because with the original scary movies, there is so much improv and ad-lib that happens throughout those, especially with Wayans films and Wayans humor. They're just throwing anything and seeing like what works, seeing what sticks. So that was one big thing that they did discuss with us, and Michael specifically had told me like, hey, we'll get the lines on the page, absolutely, but we want you to feel free to come in with ideas. It's not going to be all on you to come up with ideas. We will always pitch new jokes and stuff on set, but it's a collaborative thing. So if you have ideas, pitch them, try them, we'll see if it works. So that was one way that they really welcomed us into the franchise. So then that way there was also a familiarity with our characters, kind of referencing the old scary movies with that type of humor.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue. Something I maybe should ask in the beginning of this interview, like the audition, right? Like, do you audition for Tuesday? Is it a couple of characters? Is it kind of just a put yourself on tape? I could do like I'm just curious about that. Like, it's interesting, right? The scary movie audition.
Yeah, so when I got the audition, I didn't even know it was for Scary Movie. I mean, I kind of figured it out, obviously, once I saw that it was the Wayans and there was Ghostface. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, wink, wink, it's for something else. No, I figured out it was for Scary Movie. But for the role specifically, I did audition for Tuesday, and the role was very like hush hush. They kind of put the description as Tuesday as just like a normal girl who doesn't understand the horror movie genre, which referenced way more of Jenna Ortega's character Tara in Scream.
Mhm.
So I originally thought they were just wanting someone to portray that role and then kind of like wink wink to her character Wednesday just by naming him Tuesday.
Mhm.
But then once right before I did my self tape, that was round one of the audition process, I got an email from my agent right before I went to film with my acting coach. And it said, hey guys, make sure you guys are spoofing Wednesday. Like, we're wanting to see someone spoof that. We're not necessarily looking for Tara and Scream. So make sure you're pulling like Wednesday into it. So I had to like scratch everything I prepped for the first round of auditions. And I really went like full Wednesday for the first round. And then I did a producer callback about 2 weeks after that, where I met Marlon and Michael and Rick and our casting team, John Papsadera. And so I met kind of all the creative team in the second round. And then my last round was the chemistry read, where I only read with Olivia. She's the only Sarah I read with. They didn't have me read with anyone else. And yeah, that was kind of the process. And then I found out a couple days later that I got it.
I'm obviously things will change, and maybe, if you ask Michael or the Wayans about this, but like as far as in regards to that ending, right? How the movie ends, that was always the ending that you all got, essentially.
So there was a different ending originally, and
Okay.
then we changed it up to kind of fit a little bit more of like Scream 7 and all that kind of fun stuff. So
Gotcha.
we tweaked the ending some, but yeah, I loved the new ending. I thought it was so fun and it was very relevant, and
It's
especially with
their
those,
franchise.
yeah, especially for the core four. I was like, this is very fitting for them, 100% for them to do this.
It was really interesting. What's it been like now that it's out that like your family and friends are going to see it? Like what's that been? Again, it's cool because it's like people that maybe don't like horror movies can still go see this movie, right? Because it's a
Yeah.
comedy as well, right? What's that been like for you?
Oh, it's been so much fun. I think that is what you're saying, like the fact that people who don't really like horror movies, whatever, they can still go see it and have fun. That's
Mhm.
been so much fun for me to witness, because there are some people in my family and stuff who don't really watch scary movies, but then they love this. And I love that they're understanding and they get like a lot of the jokes. And I've seen it with tons of different people. I've seen it with friends, family, and they're all getting different jokes. They all think certain jokes are way funnier than like other ones or whatever it is. It's fun to get to see what they think are like the best jokes kind of thing and see the difference between that. But overall, it's just been so much fun for friends and family to like finally get to see it after been talking about it for so long, and like I was gone filming for a little while, so it's been such a blast.
Working on a horror movie and watching a horror movie are two completely different things. Like I have a lot of friends like yourself that don't like watching horror movies. Like I'm a filmmaker as well. I have a short horror film that I wrote and produced
Sick.
called
Amazing.
Adjoining, starring Brenda D'Amico, my friend Brenda, who is in the Descendants films.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I have a lot of friends that like, will act in a horror movie, but they don't watch
Yeah.
horror movies, right?
Right.
So, do you feel though, because there's so many references and homage to horror movies, like after working on Scary Movie, like, are you like, do you want to work on a horror movie now? Have you thought about that at
Oh,
all?
100%. Even before Scary Movie, I always thought it would be so much fun to be on a horror film set, specifically because I was like, I bet I could give a great performance because it's going to be so easy to scare me. So I was like, I'd love to work on a horror movie. And my favorite genre ever to film is comedy. So booking Scary Movie was like perfect little storm of comedy and horror film that I've always wanted to do.
So, okay, so that I want to talk a little bit about comedy because that's interesting. Now, Scary Movie, it's just kind of, like over the top craziness, it's hard, like you can't take any of that seriously ever, right?
No,
But
not
I
at
feel
all.
like, but talking about comedy, I find this interesting, Savannah, because I grew up, like some of my favorite sitcoms growing up, I feel like I look back and like there was a lot of serious issues that a lot of these, series kind
Yeah.
of covered, right? Like I think of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Boy Meets World, right? Full House, right? I'm wondering from an acting perspective or a storytelling perspective, have you always seen comedy with like a serious undertone? Like when you're like
That's
preparing
a
about things,
great
it's interesting.
question. That's a great question. I think it depends on the kind of comedy as well.
Yeah.
And I will say, because I kind of started my career in kids comedy, and I noticed very early on in kids comedy, while there are like fart jokes and, silly jokes like that, we would still tackle some more so serious subjects, just watered down so then
Mhm,
kids who at a younger age could understand it. So
mhm.
I definitely think that there is room in comedy to tackle those serious subjects, but in a funny way. Um, but yeah, I definitely think that there's room for that in comedy. And from an acting standpoint, to try and like tackle that, it's an interesting mix of trying to make sure the joke lands, but then not taking a serious subject, or maybe trying to find light in, making sure you're not like really making fun of that too much. So it's an interesting kind of mix of what you have to do with comedy in those situations for sure.
Is that you and Olivia and everyone? Is that like was there any like the part in Scary Movie where you're singing the song, right? Is that all of you like did you like rehearse with you all singing that? Like what
Yeah,
was that?
yeah,
Okay.
that was us. That was fully us. So it was funny because when
There's
we
a
got
question there. That's why I asked that because I didn't want to like go it like
no,
yeah.
yeah, it's fully us. That's 100% us. When we got the script and then it said that we were, singing the Jeffersons, and then Michael met all of us, he was like, "Wait, you guys all sing?" And we were like, "Yeah, we all sing." And he was
Have
like,
you seen
"Wait,
Julie and the Phantoms? Like I could
yeah,
sing.
right?" I'm like, look at my resume, man. Like, no, but I was like, yeah, we all sing. And it was like a light bulb went off in his head. And he was like, well, let's just see what we can do with this then. So then we all like sent in little voice recordings for the vocals on it, and then they kind of pieced it together. We went to a recording studio. We really got to like lay down some harmonies and stuff, and then they assigned us different like instruments and everything, and we learned from like videos that they gave to us. The music department, they sent us videos of them like playing the instruments, and so then we all practiced together like learning the chords, so then that way when it came time for filming, we made it look really real, and we had these little like earpieces in that were hidden so we could hear the track, and then we could sing live like with the track kind of thing to make it like really fit all together.
Was that similar to, I mean, for Phantoms, I mean, you played someone who was like a singer, like a pop star, right? So
Yeah.
was that completely different kind of preparation and style of performing for you?
Yeah, it definitely was, because I think with Julie and the Phantoms, that was so it was so musical like driven. This was strictly just like a little glimpse into a musical moment for all of us. So for Julie and the Phantoms, there was a lot more rehearsal and prep, especially because the two songs that I sang were pretty challenging vocally.
Yeah.
And so to make sure that I really nailed those down, and then I added my own harmonies and all that kind of stuff. Plus I was dancing at the same time. So that was definitely a different process than this. But the thing that what did feel very familiar to me was like being in the recording studio
Yeah.
and recording the tracks. I was like, oh, this takes me back to like Julie and the Phantoms and doing this in Vancouver. So yeah, it was similar in that way, but overall very different.
That show still is like pops up. It's still till this
everywhere.
day.
To this day, I will never escape it, which I'm glad I can't, because I love Julie and the Phantoms. I'm still upset we didn't get another season, but
we talked about it last time you came on the show. Like, when was that? That was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
it was,
something like that. It was,
but we talked about it then, and now like it still pops up from time to time. Like,
it does, and it still does to this day. I saw some edits yesterday or today, and it had some people were like, yeah, you may know her as Tuesday, but I know her as this. And it was like videos of me as Carrie. And I was like, that's so crazy to me. And I just, the fans of that show have been so loyal for years. But not only that, we are gaining new fans like every week.
The songs are so good. The songs are so good.
So good. Sometimes it pops up on my car with like when my phone connects to like Bluetooth. Sometimes you know how it like randomly picks your Apple Music songs. So it like randomly starts playing Julie and the Phantom. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this soundtrack was so good. It was so good.
Absolutely. And then last question about Scary Movie. I mean, you know, it's still in theaters, so people can go check it out. I have a lot of my friends, like we all, like most people I know saw it like first weekend.
Yeah, it was like opening night, and everyone's like,
Absolutely.
I'm there.
It was like it was you had to, right? Like there's like you had to go see it. When you booked the role officially, is it like, do you feel like you have to like go back to the movies as like research? Do you kind of keep them from distance a little bit? Like, I'm just curious about that a little, because it's a new Scary Movie, right? Like it's not the old ones, but like, do you go back and rewatch them, or like, did you use them at all as research?
Oh, 100%. Okay. But I'll say this, I only used the first two as research. Obviously, I was like, anything that was non-Wayans, I didn't really go back to, because I was like, now. Like, just Wayans fans. Like, only Wayans in here. We respect Wayans in this house.
Absolutely.
So I only watched Scary Movie 1 and 2 right before I left for filming. I had watched some scenes and clips going into the audition process and throughout the audition process to really stay fresh with their type of humor and what they look for. But one main thing that I really did during the audition process was more so watch behind the scenes of when they were shooting, and specifically what they looked for in their cast. What ideas did they want? How did they want their cast members to act on set, or like pitch ideas, things like that. So I watched a lot of like behind the scenes videos of them shooting it to really understand like the vibe and kind of what they look for in cast members.
I love Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2, but I've been thinking about it. I think I like Scary Movie 2 a little better. Like, I love Scary Movie 2. And I feel like if I talk to them, like the Wayans, like, that is the point, right? Like, when you come back for another movie, you want to make it bigger and better, right? So I feel 100%. Like they'd be happy, but you never want to discredit the first, you know what I mean?
No.
So,
yeah. No, I totally understand it. It's hard for me because I am such like like it's hard to beat an OG. It's so hard to beat the
Yeah.
original. So I'm like Scary Movie one, like through and through. I mean, I'm a little biased because I really like the one that we're in, the one that we do. But I mean, Scary Movie one's definitely like my favorite out of Scary Movie 1 and 2. But there are a lot of people who do say Scary Movie 2 is their favorite. And
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting to see like what people like more, what people think are funnier, or things like that. I think it's so interesting.
Absolutely. And like I said, Scary Movie is still in theaters, so you can go check it out now. And
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Thank
You're
you.
so great and funny as Tuesday. Congratulations.
Thank
Savannah Lee
you.
Nassif, thank you so much for your time. It was so great chatting with you again.
Yeah, it was great to catch up and see you again. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Your Instagram account is just your name if people want to keep up to date with everything.
Yeah, it's real basic. Savannah Lee Nassif.
Awesome.
Can't miss it.
This has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, you can catch Savannah Lee Nassif as Tuesday in Scary Movie, which is still in theaters now. And PD Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.